Welcome back. This is Brandon here again. We are moving on to Chapter 2. I am handing things over to Archird to walk us through a very important lesson. We often build tools that save us a lot of time personally, but we quickly discover that what works for one person does not always work for the whole company. We are going to look at why moving from personal productivity to organizational capability requires a completely different approach. Let us join Archird for Chapter 2.
Chapter 2. Why your brilliant time saver won't work for the whole company. Yet. What saves you time and what saves the company time are two completely different things. The question that changes everything. You've built something that works beautifully. A task that used to take 4 hours now takes 10 minutes. Your manager is impressed. Other teams hear about it. Word spreads. Then someone in leadership asks, can we roll this out across the entire organization? The honest answer is, not yet. We'd need to rebuild it first. The answer people actually give is, sure, we just need to write some documentation and share the code. This is where most automation dies. Not immediately, slowly, over about 18 months as the organization discovers that what worked perfectly for you doesn't work at all for everyone else. Here's what most people don't understand. Automation that makes you more efficient and automation that makes your organization more capable are fundamentally different things. They're not the same system at different sizes. They're different architectures altogether. This chapter explains what changes when you move from personal productivity to organizational capability, and why getting this wrong costs so much money. The 3 levels and why only one actually scales. Think of automation maturity as 3 distinct levels. Most people assume they're just upgrades of each other, like iPhone models. They're not. They're as different as a bicycle, a car, and a bus. Level 1, just for you. This is where everyone starts. You've written something that helps you do your job faster, you run it when you need it, you fix it when it breaks, you understand how it works because you built it. Who owns it? You, obviously. Who approves changes? Nobody. It's your tool. What happens if you leave? It stops working. How long does it last? Weeks to months. This is perfectly fine for personal productivity. The problem starts when organizations try to use level 1 automation as if it were level 3. Think of it like your personal spreadsheet for tracking expenses. Works great for you, but it is useless for running the finance department. Level 2, shared by your team. The danger zone. This is where things get dangerous. Your script is now being used by your whole team. Other people run it, but you still fix it when it breaks. There's maybe a README file. Knowledge is shared through personal relationships. Who owns it? Still you, informally. Who approves changes? Peer review when people remember. What happens if you leave? Slowly breaks, eventually abandoned. How long does it last? Months to a year. Here's why level 2 is the most dangerous. It looks like organizational automation, but it doesn't have any of the structure that makes organizational automation safe. It has the reach of level 3 automation with the governance of level 1. Think of it like running a restaurant using recipes scribbled in one chef's personal notebook. It works great until that chef leaves, then chaos. When level 2 automation breaks, it doesn't just affect you anymore, it affects your entire team. Most automation gets stuck here, causes an incident, and the organization shuts it all down. Level 3, enterprise automation, what actually works long-term. This is automation the organization depends on. Multiple people can maintain it, someone formally owns it with allocated time. It integrates with your change management system. There's comprehensive documentation. Audit trails satisfy compliance requirements. Who owns it? Formally designated owner with backup. Who approves changes? Your organization's change management process. What happens if the owner leaves? Backup owner takes over, system continues. How long does it last? 5 years or more. This is what people think they're getting when they ask, can we roll this out? This is what actually works long-term. Think of it like the difference between one person's filing system and your organization's official records management system. One is personal convenience, the other is organizational infrastructure. What actually changes between levels? Let's be specific about the differences. Who owns it? Personal tool? You. Everyone assumes. Enterprise capability? Named person with backup, officially designated. Who approves changes? Nobody. You just do it. Enterprise capability? Change management process. If the owner quits, personal tool, it dies. Enterprise capability, backup continues. How long does it last? Personal tool, weeks to months. Enterprise capability, 5 years minimum. Documentation? Personal tool, maybe some comments. Enterprise capability, full guides, architecture, operations, troubleshooting. Who can fix it? Just you. Enterprise capability, at least 3 people. The question isn't whether your automation works, the question is whether it can survive as an organizational capability. The 4 things enterprise automation actually needs. If you want automation that your organization will trust and depend on long-term, you need these 4 foundations. Miss any one, and you're building something that will eventually fail organizationally. Foundation 1. Real ownership. Someone is formally designated as the owner with 20 to 40% of their time officially allocated to this. There's a backup owner with 10 to 20% of their time allocated. Maintenance is part of their job description and performance reviews. Ownership without allocated time isn't ownership. It's asking someone to maintain automation in their spare time whilst doing their regular job. Critical infrastructure needs dedicated resources. Foundation 2. Proper governance. Execution requires approval. Someone requests a change, someone else approves it, and the automation executes it. Changes go through your organization's standard change management process, and every action creates an audit trail showing who did what. Governance isn't bureaucracy. It's how organizations demonstrate accountability to auditors and limit damage when things go wrong. Bigger impact requires oversight. Foundation 3. Visibility. You need centralized logging that monitoring systems can read, real-time dashboards, and alerts when something goes wrong. If your automation breaks and nobody notices for 3 hours, that's not automation you can trust with business-critical tasks. You need to know about problems before they become disasters. Foundation 4. Sustainability. You need documentation that someone who wasn't involved in building this can actually understand. You need at least 3 people who can maintain it, the bus factor. If only you understand how it works, you haven't built organizational capability. You've built organizational dependency on you personally. Organizations need recipes, not secrets. How organizations learn to trust automation. Trust isn't binary. Organizations move through levels and each requires proof. Level 1 trust, tell me what you do. The automation runs in read-only mode and reports what it would change. Risk is minimal. Level 2 trust, prepare changes for my review. The automation generates changes, but a human reviews and applies them manually. Risk is low. Level 3 trust, execute after I approve. The automation makes changes automatically, but only after a human approves each action. Risk is moderate. Most enterprise automation should stop at level 3. Fully autonomous automation exists, but most organizations don't need that level of maturity. 3 hard lessons from real failures. The one-person show. A firm had critical automation maintained by 1 senior engineer. When he resigned, 3 people spent 6 weeks trying to understand it. They eventually rewrote it from scratch because retro-engineering it was harder. The compliance disaster. A government department ran network automation for 18 months before an audit discovered it had no change management integration or individual accountability. It was flagged as a potential insider threat and immediately shut down. The knowledge vacuum. A provider had excellent automation built by 1 developer. When she left, the automation broke within 3 months, and her replacement needed 6 months to understand the codebase. What you need to believe. What saves you time and what saves the company time are 2 different problems requiring different designs. Level 2 is where automation goes to die. Either keep it at level 1 or invest in moving it to level 3. The 4 foundations aren't optional: ownership, governance, visibility, sustainability. Miss any one and you're building something that will eventually fail organizationally. Ownership requires allocated resources. Assigning someone as owner without reducing their other work is setting them up to fail. It's like making someone responsible for fire safety in their spare time. Trust is earned through demonstration. Organizations trust what they can verify, monitor, and hold accountable. Build those capabilities or accept limited trust. The bus factor measures sustainability. If your automation can't survive losing 1 or 2 key people, it's a single point of failure pretending to be organizational capability. The transition costs real money, between $50,000 and $150,000 and 6 to 12 months. Organizations unwilling to invest this should keep automation at level 1 with appropriate safeguards. Knowledge concentration breaks automation politically. If only 1 or 2 people understand it, the organization has created dependency, not capability. People resist depending on systems they don't understand. Structure enables, it doesn't restrict. The 4 foundations aren't bureaucracy, they're the architecture that allows organizations to trust automation enough to depend on it. The next chapter examines how to actually build this structure, the systems, processes, and integration points that make enterprise automation work in practice.
It's a lot to take in, is it not? Moving from a personal tool to an organizational capability is the only way to make automation last. The 4 foundations of ownership, governance, visibility, and sustainability are not just red tape. They are the architecture that allows the company to trust your work enough to actually depend on it. If you found this helpful, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment below. I would love to hear which of these levels your team is currently working in. In the next chapter, we are going to look at systems and processes that make enterprise automation work in practice. I will see you there.